Let's go. We live and direct in a place with Young Free, and we got what it takes to rock the mic. Right. What's happening? Day 3. What's going on? How we feeling? How we feeling? Let me see some flames in the chat. Let's go. Let's get it. I know y'all up because y'all was on the Telegram all night long, all day long. I'm not going cap. So I know y'all ready to rock, man. It's about to go down. I got Vic ready. He hyped. Everybody's lit today. I can already see by the engagement that y'all are learning. Y'all enjoying this. It's not only just the education, but it's the relationships as well. That's the most important part about these type of events. You get the network, you get the level up together. We stronger together than apart. So let's keep going. Let's keep moving. Let's keep making it make sense. And if it don't make sense, it cannot make dollars. You feel me? All right, cool. So now, first and foremost, we had homework yesterday. We got a 72-hour implementation rule that's going down. And y'all had to just literally do a video saying one of them aloud. And I seen a lot of y'all participating in y'all homework. Much respect. Let's get it. So if anybody can share one of the things that they're going to implement, raise your hands, please. And I would love to call on you to come talk to the gang. You feel me? All right, I got my man, Mr. Patel. Let's do it.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, so yesterday Vic went through the bet slip and putting all your picks in the bet slip the day before and then watching and tracking those odds. And so I did that last night. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat were doing that too. So that was free game right there. That was awesome.
Absolutely. So you about to implement that.
I have been implementing that and I really,
Implemented it already.
yeah.
Heard you. I like that. Execution. I love that. All right, cool. Appreciate that. Let me get Brandon stirring on this thing.
What's going on, guys? The biggest thing I'm going to be implementing is identifying if what the slate is as far as being public or Vegas. That was kind of the biggest thing that I took away from yesterday. And then when Vic did the Zoom call at like 4 a.m., that was the biggest thing that he kept on talking about. So that's definitely going to be a thing that I take away and I already implemented.
Okay, so what kind of day is today?
So initially we thought it was a half and half, but right now it's looking like it's a Vegas day.
Okay, and then what can't happen 2 days back to back?
You can't have 2 public days back to back.
Okay, heard you. We got him right. It's going down. And I swear we really learning right now. This is what I like. Let me hear Mitch Bailey. Let's get one more real quick.
Yo, what's up, guys? So one thing I think I'm going to implement, which is what I didn't do today, but what I learned today is I think I'm going to sit back, not every day, but probably at least tomorrow and the next day, I'm going to sit back on probably like, at least the first slate, maybe the first and maybe half of the second slate, just to kind of see how it plays out and then just be able to identify what day it actually is and then make my picks on that.
Okay. That's very, very smart. Very, very intelligent, my boy. I'm liking these. Let me get one more. Let's go with Riley Bellinger.
Yeah, so a lot like some of the other people, I'm trying to identify whether it's going to be a Vegas or a public day. And something that Vic talked about was looking at future and previous lines to help identify that as well. So that's something I've been implementing and something that I've been looking at a lot more.
Strong. That's very important. I mean, I didn't know how important it was till yesterday. Look, I'm learning just like y'all. I'm not going to cap. So now I'm feeling a little bit more confident when I'm looking at these and like deciding if I want to go with a bet or not. It's crazy. Yesterday's call definitely helped me out with me being like, okay, cool, this don't make no sense at all. I'm just going to stay away from it. Sometimes when we be like, okay, cool, they might be setting me up. It is a setup. Your intuition tells you everything. Look, so one thing I can teach y'all now, when your gut is telling you something, 9 times out of 10 it's right. But we sometimes try to be hopeful and, have wishful thinking. But, like I said, Vic, he knows the strategy, and it's very important to be able to at least have a rule of thumb. So now we have that. Let me get Seth to go in and say his piece. What you got, Seth? Gotta unmute yourself. Let me see. Like you unmuted. Your audio might not be connected, my boy. Let me let you get that right. We're gonna go with Joe. Joe, you can unmute yourself, my boy. See what you got going on. I like Joe going. That's a nice picture, though, yo. Let's just look at it for a second. Damn. No, I'm just playing. All right, cool. Let's go. We go with Lil Daryl. Let Lil Daryl crank up.
Yeah. So, watching the money lines and the Vegas and the public days, that was important. You know, I was enlightened yesterday. I'm a sports fanatic of football, but it's baseball season. But everything that we learned, and now I think I can apply to football season as well. Because watching the Vegas days and the public days, making those predictions about the superstars being out, when it comes to baseball, it's really the pitchers that kind of control the game because they dictate whether or not people get points or not. So, the scores on the board, they pretty much determine that. So I'm not too really privy about baseball, but everything that I'm hearing about the money lines, watching the line items, rather than, the Vegas days and the public days, and, just keeping up on that information there is I'm gonna apply that to football season though. So it's a good skill though. Definitely. That's what I learned.
Okay. I like that. All right, cool. So now, how important is the times of the games? How many people took that into account prior to the call yesterday? Because I'm gonna just tell y'all about myself. I never gave a damn about what time them games was, but it makes perfect sense to look at what time the games are to dictate how Vegas is moving the money around based off of how people are betting, even during the times of the game. It's nuts. My boy Vic got this thing down to a science, and I ain't going fraud. I was ill with the chemistry when I was in school, so I'm gonna have to apply some of these formulas, bro, straight to this is crazy, because even thinking about the bread analogy and using that as a rule of thumb is crazy, super unique, and it helps us be able to look for those winning picks, man. I want to be able to be as accurate as Vic when it comes to this betting thing. I don't really like to miss too tough. Come on, y'all. Let me ask y'all a question. Scale of 1 to 10. How hard was that Steph Curry analogy? Scale of 1 to 10.
It was hard, man.
Yo, hold on. Is Steph Curry the best shooter in the game?
Sir.
Does Steph Curry miss shots? If he misses shots, is he still the best shooter in the game? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember asking that question. I remember asking.
Yo, it gets serious. Events I have ever been a part of, and I'm not gonna lie, the education point in this is gonna be crazy. The execution y'all been doing has been crazy. We appreciate y'all participating in everything, which made it $1,000. It made us a pleasure for us to give out iPads. I seen Vic talking about smart boards. It's like y'all understand that the more that y'all give, it makes us want to give because it makes us feel like this whole thing is worth it. We're not wasting our time here. We're really making impact and really helping people. Y'all know what we get. Y'all know how cool it would make somebody look to say, yeah, I took Vic Challenge and now I'm able to bet and I'm able to retire my mom. Oh, I was able to start my new company with this. Y'all know how dope that's what it's for. It's the impact over income, especially when you found fulfillment and you've been able to actually get your financial stride. And now you actually helping people now that you've done it. It's a different level. So y'all make us look better. We look better by making y'all make more money. So everybody comment, make money in the chat, because that's what we about to be doing. It's a real serious situation. Let's go. Okay, cool. So I'm about to bring my brother Vic on here, and I'm about to let him answer a few questions. If you already know that you got a question, go ahead and start raising your hand now. We're going to try to get Vic to knock out a lot more questions today, and I don't even want to let him start at 6:30. I'm going to let him crank up right now. So if you already know you got a question, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what to do to get Vic to get on the call. We must summon the GOAT. Please let yourself off mute, and please get my guy.
Yes, sir, Vic. Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
Vic.
Let's go, baby.
Straight out of
Let's
Let's go. Man, waiting for Vic.
Not here. Where to go?
He's up
I love it. Let's do it. Okay, cool. We got Vic on the line. We're going to let somebody ask a question. We're going to start off straight with Joshua. Let's go right to the question. My question is,
Hey, how's it going, Vic? So my question is after the games this morning, we're looking at it like it's going to be a public for the rest of the day? Or are you still seeing that it might be a half and half?
It's looking like a half and half. We actually broke down the schedule last night. That was kind of like a bonus call that wasn't scheduled. We kind of got everybody together and put our heads together. So basically, what the slate is going to be, the first two games starting at the exact same time are going to be Vegas. The next couple is going to be public, and then it's going to be Vegas again. And it's going to be a small public section, then it's going to be Vegas again. So it's going to be back and forth depending on the time zones.
Okay. All right, cool. That's what I have too. I was just curious on what you thought. It's there's like 4 to 6 left or something like that, 4 to 7 games.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Let's go with Mitch Bailey.
Hey Vic, so kind of touching on that, how do you like I know there's certain days, right? You were saying like I think Monday, I think you said in the chat a couple weeks ago, I think Mondays and Fridays or Mondays and Saturdays were typically Vegas days. How do you just decipher that? Like how do you look at the lines on the first game and say like get that initial feeling that today's going to be a Vegas day? Like how do you do that?
So Mondays and Fridays are initially public. The reason being is because standard economics, Monday is when the average consumer goes back to work and realizes that they hate their job and they're like thinking of a way out. Friday is when the average consumer gets paid and is looking for things to spend their money on. So that's when those are the days where it's the easiest to make money, because on Monday you're like, I hate my job. Oh shit, I hit for $30 on the Braves. And then Tuesday you lose it all. And then Friday, oh, I just got paid. You hit for $50. And then Saturday you lose it all.
Perfect. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Strong. Let's go straight into it with Simon.
Go Vic. My question is, could you go over or show us the VNP diagram that you implemented, that you posted on, or somebody posted on the chat?
Yeah, I can, but it wouldn't necessarily be helpful because today is like a 1 in a million day. I think that's something that would be a little more appropriate for tomorrow or Friday when the day is a little more generic or organic. So that right now it's like an anomaly. So if I wrote down an anomaly too, it wouldn't be helpful for you to next week.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, let's go with Logan.
Hey, what up, Vic? My question for you is, I was looking on the Action Network app, and I noticed during the Blue Jays Orioles game, the Orioles have damn near 80% of the money, yet they're still only a -105 favorite compared to the Blue Jays -113. Wouldn't you expect the Orioles to be a bigger favorite if they have 80% of the money?
Yeah, that's when you basically pump the brakes and decide that you are looking at a landmine waiting to be stepped on, and you basically fade yourself or you stay away from it.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
Yep. Same example what happened with the Rangers and the Angels last night.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
Let's go with Blase Blah.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Vic? Quick scenario from yesterday. You dug deep into the Brewers and Twins example. Even though they lost by 2, they should have covered, right? But the line jumps from -120 to -165. They play at 7 o'clock today Eastern time. I'm on Eastern, so it might be 1 hour behind. What do you
today or tomorrow?
I believe they played today. I could be wrong, but I think they played today. Brewers Twins.
Anybody? They already played.
Oh yeah, excuse me.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, they lost. Excuse me. The Twins win 4-2, and their line was at 165 from 120 yesterday to 165. I guess what I'm asking is, would you have just played the Twins straight up after seeing them come back and win yesterday against the Brewers?
Not necessarily, because it depends on the slot that they're in. If the money leans or shifts, or Vegas has an ulterior motive where today's result is going to shift tomorrow's result, then you just have to roll with that punch.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so a lot of this is going to be note-taking.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's go with Danny.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
So I got 3 questions. 2 are not for my bad, but I just haven't slept. I got college and stuff. So the first question is about the MacBook giveaway. Can you tell us when does it end?
We'll probably figure out the winner tonight after we get off the call.
All right. And my second question is for the Brewers match, what was like your mindset? I know you told me yesterday when you expect things to go down, so you have a plan. What was like today's plan when you saw like the Brewers game lose, didn't go out?
When I saw the Brewers game lose, all my attention turned to the game 2 of the Braves and the Tigers, and I called that the shake back pick. The reason why is because I was so confident in them to cover. So it's like if you lost 100 on the Brewers, then put 150 on the Tigers.
So when a match doesn't go your way, you don't try to make back your money on the same match. You try to
of course not.
Okay. I forgot my third question, but if I remember, I'm gonna ask you again.
Sounds good. No problem. Yes, sir.
Let's go with Franco.
What's good, Vic? So I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this because I'm like, what the hell? This shit is like, yeah, I'm still new to all this. So I'm trying to wrap my head around it all. But you said, how do you decipher a Vegas day from a public day?
So looking at the schedule and knowing what day it is will basically tell you. So this week is a very bad example because we just had the NBA and NHL finals end, so the days are a little skewed. Right. But if we were to look at next week, we know Monday and Friday are public days because that's when the average consumer gets paid or they hate their job the most. Wednesday is half and half. Tuesday and Thursday are Vegas days, and then Saturday and Sunday are Vegas days. The reason we deciphered that to be the actual standard schedule was because that leaves 4.5 Vegas days, which is profit for them, and 2.5 public days, which is just enough to keep you playing.
Okay. And another quick question. Why are you treating the first game on the Vegas schedule as a public and vice versa?
Okay, so like I said, I compared it to a loaf of bread. The first slice of the bread is that ugly slice that nobody touches, right? And the last slice of the bread is that ugly slice that nobody touches. Everything else in between is free game. So think of it as someone who has cracked the code, but doesn't understand that there's inverse on the outside and on both of the outsides. So if you think, oh, it's a Vegas day, I'm going to do everything Vegas, you're going to get kicked out in that first pick. Or if you start in the middle and go all the way to the bottom, your last leg is going to be a sweat because it's public. So they basically make the buns of the sandwich the thing that you're not supposed to eat. And once you take that bite, you're already fried. So they literally set up traps in plain sight for you to go against whatever you think you know. But I was able to take those losses and be like, okay, cool. They're doing inverses on the outside. That's how I came up with the loaf of bread.
So how do you go about when you, like yesterday when you gave the example, when you already had the Braves, but then they put them in the mix when they were already the top of the loaf? Like, how do you go about
when they move shit around, leave it alone. Okay. Just leave it alone. Act like it was never even on the slate.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go with Shamir. Gotta unmute yourself, my boy.
All right. So my joint was cause I wasn't on the joint at 2:00. The live stream that you did, I wasn't on it. I was asleep. I was out of it. But my question is, like, what was? Cause you said it was like the time zone and stuff like that. Like, what's like the time? What do you mean by the time zone?
The time zone as far as how I like select what pick it's gonna be.
Yeah, like how you know it was gonna be the Vegas time zone. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay. Good question. The reason I was able to pick it today was because that the finals just ended in NBA and NHL. They were going to sprinkle the public picks across multiple days versus just having Wednesday be completely half and half. It's a little bit of back and forth for Wednesday and Thursday to make up for Monday being so Vegas because the NBA finals just ended. Next week, the slate is going to be completely organic. You'll be able to see clearly gaps between the first slice of bread and then the rest of the slate. Depending on what day it is, you'll know what the rest of the slate is. So if it's a Tuesday and you got your first game at 5:35, then you know that that's a public day because Tuesday is Vegas, but the first and the last are the opposite. So when you see the 5:35 and you see 5:40, you know you have one first slice of bread. But if you see 5:35 and 5:35, then 5:40, those first two games are going to be inverse of the slate. If the slate is Vegas, those first two games are going to be public.
Gotcha. All right, but that's all I needed.
Yep.
Thanks.
It helps. It helps to write it down and map it out.
Yeah, I'm writing down everything.
Let's get it.
All right, let's go with Kevin Lewis.
Yeah, what's up, Vic? My question is, what's your process when you figure out like if it's a public or a Vegas day? Do you go like through every game and you select like you analyze the lines, or what's your process?
Yeah. So the first step is figuring out what day it is and road mapping the entire slate based on what Vegas may or may not want to happen. So let's say a public day is Monday. Monday, we have the first game, Vegas, the last game, Vegas. I know everything else in between, for the most part, is going to be public. So I'm going to read the games. And if it makes sense, if the line makes sense, if we have the Astros playing the Royals and the Astros are minus 260 and the minus 1.5 is minus 140, the Astros are going to cover. It's a no-brainer. But in a public day, if the Astros are in the middle of the slate where they're supposed to be and they're playing the Royals and the Astros are minus 130, then you're like, this is a landmine. You going around that. If the lines make sense, you're good. If the lines don't make sense, they're trying to fuck you over. So you have to be able to make the lines make sense by looking at ERAs, looking at standings, looking at how they played the last game. You have to understand all of this. If the Astros come out minus 130 against the Royals, but the Astros just beat a team 9-2, you're gonna be like, whoa, that doesn't make any sense. So you have to make it make sense.
All right, for sure. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Let's go with my boy Miles.
How's it going, Vic?
Yo.
My question for you is, just to reiterate, you probably already caught it, but I'm just, writing so fast, trying to get everything down. You said Mondays and Fridays are usually public days, and then Wednesdays half and half, and Tuesday and Thursday are Vegas days. And I can't remember what you said about the weekend. Vegas as well. Okay, thank you.
Right. Yep.
Let's go. We paying attention. I'm loving the note takers, the money makers. Appreciate that, bro. I know you're going to turn up. Let's go with Ocean Boy J one time.
Yo, so quick question. So for Wednesday, since it's split half and half, is there an instance to where first half is a Vegas or first half is a public? You know what I mean? So like
every first half I've seen was public. And I feel like that's extremely particular because if Vegas wants to be as greedy as possible, they're going to put the easy picks while the easy people can't take advantage of them while they're at work.
Okay.
I don't see it being the other way around.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
Smooth. Let's run it back to Mitch Bailey.
Hey, Vic, I got two quick questions for you. The first one would be, so say, for instance, tonight the Rockies and the Red Sox are playing, right? And it's like super crazy odds. So I think the Red Sox like minus 278 I got them at, and the Rockies are plus 200. So obviously plus 1.5, that's what we got for the pick. So they should cover that, right? But if you go and you take the plus 2.5, which is obviously a way safer pick, I think it's at minus 160. Would that change? Like, I know you're really big on like sticking to your set amounts that you're betting on, but if you're already loving the plus 1.5 to cover, if you take the plus 2.5, even though the odds are worse, would you bet more money on the plus 2.5?
What makes you like the Rockies at plus 2.5?
I think that's kind of what I had here. Because just going off your Venn diagram from yesterday, I wrote it down off the little picture that was in the chat because I wasn't in your live yesterday when at like 2 or 3 a.m. or whatever. And I think you had Rocky Sox, if I read it right, in a Vegas spot.
What happened the last time the Rockies and the Sox played?
That's a good question.
This was going to blow your mind.
Tuesday. Rockies 176 at plus 179 underdog.
So in this case, you're spamming for the Rockies to win or cover again. And you said they won at plus 170, right?
Plus 170, yeah.
Now they're plus 190. You think they're going to hand them an extra plus 20 points to do it again?
I'm just going off taking, like, you are right, obviously. I'm just going off taking today's game at face value with it being in the Vegas spot. So obviously the public pick, I would say with the Red Sox being at minus 233 is what I'm reading here on FlashScore, being the Red Sox to win the game and probably cover the minus 1.5.
Okay, I think what's going to help you is to cover the odds and focus on the teams.
Okay.
So when you cover the odds, you can't tell who's the favorite. You just have two teams playing. You have Rockies, Red Sox. Yeah. Now, with this information, all you can rely on is what happened last time they played.
Yeah, Rockies winning 7-6.
So that means the Rockies are the better team without looking at the odds. Vegas would be if the Red Sox came out and beat them 6-0, because it's like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But if the Rockies come out and win again, they're like, oh, duh, they beat them last time. Of course they can beat them again. That makes it a public pick. A Vegas pick would be the Red Sox coming out doing this all night.
Okay.
In my opinion, in my personal opinion, I think because the Rockies have been stifling these guys.
Okay, that makes sense. And I know that took a little bit of time, but if you got time for one more, with that, I know it kind of changed today, but with that first Venn diagram that you guys did up yesterday, how did you kind of go through each game? And like, I get the first and last slice, but how were you able to say, you know, the Giants Cards is going to be public, and then the next set, the Blue Jays Orioles is going to be Vegas, and then the Rangers, whoever they're playing, the Rangers and Angels or whatever, that's going to be Vegas. And then you went down the slate and then you said, okay, the Mariners, that's public. Like, how did you go through each of that and be able to determine which is in which category?
Okay, so this is exactly what happened. I don't know if you noticed, but you know how I said Mondays and Fridays are usually public days, right?
Yeah.
So Vegas almost has a quota to make every week, where it's like you have to make sure the public is happy enough to keep playing to the point where they don't want to quit. So let's say Vegas has to supply, out of 100 games, Vegas has to supply 35 publics. They weren't able to supply those publics because they had to move some money around for the Nuggets to end the series, right?
Yeah.
So we were faced with a Monday Vegas slate when that is an anomaly. That does not happen. In the situation where Vegas unloads a Monday Vegas slate, then Vegas is like, we're going to get y'all back because we have to hit our public game quota. So instead of Wednesday being half and half, we're going to do a little more than half on Wednesday and a little more than half on Thursday. Now, to be able to depict where those zones change, you just pay attention to the times. Never have I ever seen 4 games start at the exact same time, and all 4 of those games are the jankiest games that have been happening all week. So if you pay attention, at 8:40, we have the Guardians, Padres, the Marlins, the Mariners, the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, the Rays, and the Athletics, all at 8:40. That is a chunk of public games. What I call that is public debt. So Vegas has to hit their quota, and they're giving our games public as a debt to us. So tomorrow you're going to see what looks like a Wednesday slate, but it's really not, because they're trying to divide everything that they missed on Monday between Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
This is 1,000 days of experience. So I don't expect you to understand it just off what I'm saying right now, but you're going to start to understand it. Trust me.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Let's go with Joshua.
All right, Vic. So I just want to break it down so I understand, I have a good understanding of it. So if I were to break it down into 3 steps, would it be look at the schedule first and decipher if it's a Vegas or a public day? And then from there, I'm going to read the odds of individual teams and then check the slips and see if what the bet percentage versus the money percentage is. And if it's like a public day and a public game, then that's what I'm going to put most of my faith into.
So first, what you want to do is check to see whether it's public or Vegas. You want to figure out the foundation of the slate. That's step 1. You skip the step. Step 2 is to read every single line and see if it matches up with the scenario that is given. The pitcher, the team, the standings, the records. the win streaks, the lose streaks, all of that. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
After that, then you find the 2 or 3 that are weird, and then you go to action. You go to action to look at those 2 or 3 that are weird. If it's weird and the money is all lopsided, that's when you can be like, okay, cool. I'm going to X these out and focus on everything else. Because if you can eliminate the tumor, the rest of the body is fine. Why search the entire body for the tumor instead of just taking the tumor out and you have the rest of the body is good?
Yep, I get that.
So you're like a surgeon. You're taking the tumors out to make sure the body is healthy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got it. That was like the Rockies Red Sox.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Sick. Thanks.
Yesterday, the tumor was the Angels and the Rangers, and we found that on live. That was a tumor. We removed it, and guess what? If we left it in there, we would have died.
All right. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
So let's run it back to Seth, see if he got his audio good.
Yes, sir. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. My question is, so on public days and Vegas days, do you tend to adjust your bankroll? So like, are you going lighter on a Vegas day or heavier slamming on a public day?
No, I treat every day like it's a day that I'm familiar with. If I know it, I know it. Where it's a day where I can't basically figure out what the slate means due to lack of experience or just whatever Vegas is trying to spin, kind of like what they're doing today. The only thing that saved me from being lost today is my experience. Had I not known, I would have been like, today's very confusing. I'm gonna go super light. But the fact that I know, I'm like, this is probably what they're doing. I'm just gonna go normal. So it depends on your confidence.
Got it. All right, appreciate it.
Yep.
Move. Let's hit Blase Blah again.
I got another scenario for you, Vic. Yankees Mets yesterday. Yankees win by 1 at plus 125. Mets are at minus 135 during that loss. Today, it's minus 110 both ways. What do you decide?
Repeat that one more time. You said the Yankees lost or the Mets lost?
The Yankees win by 1 yesterday.
What were the odds when they won?
Plus 125.
Plus 125 with the
Mets,
win?
Yeah, with the win. Mets were.
Then what is it the next day?
Today is minus 110 on both ways. So Mets minus 110, Yankees minus 110. They play at 7 Eastern time.
Who's the better team?
Believe
Yankees, I think.
Yankees.
I think the Yankees have 39 wins, don't they?
Let's see. Yes, Yankees have 39 wins and New York Mets have 31 wins.
31. Yep. 39, 31. Okay. 39 win team, won as an underdog, and now they pay less. So if you put $1,000 on them yesterday, you would have made $1,125 or $1,250. And then if you bet $1,000 on them today, you only make about $900. So that is a good sign for the Yankees to win again. But what slot are they in?
That's a good question. I know they play in the middle, and I think they play at 7 Eastern time.
Okay, they're in a Vegas slot.
So what I guess my question is, that gap method is not applied here.
What Yankees were the favorite, right?
Yesterday they were the underdogs. Today they're favorite.
Yesterday they were underdogs. It doesn't work. It only works for the favorite. So to clarify the gap method, let's say you have the Yankees and the Mets, right?
Yeah.
The Yankees day one are minus 180. I need everybody to pay attention. Follow me here. The Yankees are the favorite. Everybody's looking at them to cover. They are now minus 180 against the Mets, who are plus 160, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees win by 5 when they're minus 180. They win by 5 when they're minus 180. Pay attention. The next day, I lied. They're minus 180 and they win by 1. They're minus 180 and they win by 1. That means the Mets covered, but the Yankees won at minus 180. The next day, the Yankees are minus 155. Now they're minus 155. Now everybody's like, damn, the Mets covered when they were minus 180. I fuck with the Mets to cover again. That's when the Yankees are going to take off and win by 5 because it's like a slingshot. They pulled it back a little bit and then they let it go. And that bitch flew. Does that make sense? So the team has to be the favorite first, and then the odds have to pull back like a slingshot a little bit after they win by 1. That next day when the odds are pulled back slightly, when everybody's looking at the Mets thinking they're going to cover again or maybe win, let that bitch go. Yankees come out and win 11-0.
Okay.
That's how the gap method works.
Okay. No, that makes sense. But so in that Mets Yankee slot today, would you even touch it, or it's like a landmine?
It's not dire. I mean, there's 3 or 4 other games I'm in love with, so I don't give a fuck about that game.
Got you. I see why.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Smooth. Okay, cool. Let's run it to Jared Emmerich.
Did you say my name?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Jared.
my computer died and I just got on my cell phone. All right, cool.
Okay,
Hey,
I see you're still frozen, but you're talking.
All right. So, Vic, you said the 940 slate today. That's public debt. Vegas debt.
Yeah. That's
So
Vegas debt to the public.
So you're saying they're going to give a couple like layups, right?
Yes, exactly.
So when in the chat, I said, so that's what I saw the Rays who are due. The A's are way too hot right now. -1.5 at -150. Why isn't that attractive?
The reason that's not attractive is because there's some janky shit going on. There's a lot of politics going on around the Athletics right now. That's why I would personally stay away from the game. But like I said, I'm not sure if you were on the call last night. You can look left and right when you cross the street, but when you walk, you might get hit by a car you didn't even hear coming. So I feel like the Athletics are the Tesla. So you might not hear them, but they're gonna hit you still. So I would personally stay away because of what they're doing right now. But honestly, based on the lines being the same for the last 3 or 4 days, I think the public is riding the Athletics train right now. So that might be a public pick where Athletics cover.
Yeah.
Athletics
Yeah,
are
you're right.
6-0 or 7-0 in the last 7 games. I think the public is key to them now. I think the public's like, fuck it. We're riding +220 tonight. Fuck the Rays.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Right.
But that's just a weird game. You're not even going to mess with it because there's too many weird variables going on.
It's not worth the headache.
I understand. Thanks, man.
Yep. We can take notes on it though, for sure.
Let's go with Phil Andrews.
Hey, Vic, my question is, say on Wednesdays, the mixture days, are the time slots for public in Vegas, are these like 2 games, 3 games, or you base them off like 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock? Like, how do you have these slots? Are they 3 games, 4 games for each slot, or how do you have that?
Where do you live, Phil?
I'm in Ontario, Canada, Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, they work 9 to 5 jobs up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what I want you to do is go on Google real quick. Everybody go on Google real quick and look up MLB schedule June 21st. I want everybody to pull that up and say done in the chat when you got it up on Google.
You said June 21st?
June 21st, MLB schedule June 21st. Say done when you're looking at it.
Done.
All right, so let's break this game down together. My time zone has the Rays and the Orioles starting at 11 a.m., but they start simultaneously with the Blue Jays and the Marlins. That means that if we understand that the first half of the slate is going to be public while the public is at work, then the first loaf of bread is going to be Vegas. So we have the Orioles and the Rays, Blue Jays and Marlins in the Vegas slots. Then we have Rockies, Reds right after 11:35. We're in the public. Cubs, Pirates in the public. Royals, Tigers, public. Diamondbacks, Brewers, public. Mets, Astros, public. Cardinals, Nationals, public. Now notice, Phil, there is a huge gap between the start time and the end time of the Cardinals, Nationals, and the Braves, Phillies. People are driving home from work.
Right.
That's the halftime break. That's when it's welcome to Vegas. Everybody's at home now. Now you have all these other games in the evening. You got the Braves, Phillies at 5:40, Mariners, Yankees 6:05, Athletics, Guardians 6:10, Red Sox, Twins 6:40, Rangers, White Sox 7:10, Dodgers, Angels 8:38, and then you have a gap. 7 minutes, but it's a gap. Padres, Giants, that would be a public pick because we're in a Vegas zone.
All right, thanks.
So that's how you can look at a schedule and break down the entire roadmap because you know that Wednesdays are specifically half and half. Why does this Wednesday not look like the current Wednesday we're dealing with now? Is because they're paying debts from what happened on Monday.
True. All right.
This is a normal Wednesday schedule. Yep.
Player. Okay, cool. Let's go back with Mr. Patel.
All right, Vic, I wanted to follow up to your gap method question. Does it matter, or do they both have to be like in a Vegas time zone or zone both days for it to apply, or no?
You know what? I never took note of that, but it's worked every single time, no matter what zone.
Okay.
Powerful. All right, let's get one more in. Let's go back with Shamir.
No, I didn't mean to read it, man. My fault.
Heard you. We'll go with Miles again.
Yeah, y'all can put your hands down if you don't got a question.
Yeah, I didn't have a question. I should probably put my hand down.
Yeah, it's all good. Y'all put your hands down if you don't have a question anymore. Danny has a question. He's raising his hand in public.
Well, let's rock with Danny real quick.
So, I got one quick question, yes or no? You said Mondays and Fridays are public days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it happen to not be public days? Like, I know you said Wednesday half and half days, Monday and Friday public days, but like, did you find out that they can change? Like, is it set in stone or not?
It's not set in stone, but 90% of the time, that's how the schedule works. The only reason it would be different is if there's a major sporting event that is pulling the money around. So like I said, Monday was supposed to be a public day, but it was a Vegas day because they had to pay out Nuggets futures on Monday.
All right. I got a follow-up question. Out of your 1,000 days, if you did keep track of this, how many times did Mondays and Fridays be public, or like, did you see it? Like, did it bounce up? Like, did it change? I don't know. Like, a lot of time.
95% of the Mondays and Fridays I experienced were public.
All right. And I wanted to ask you one more question. Today the Brewers were lost. I wanted to ask you, like, when you saw that, what did you change? Like, what was your mentality going like to other picks? What did you look after? Like, I haven't did a lot of homework because I got college exams, but I want to like get your mentality. Like, what did you check out? What did you change? Because I know you were expecting Brewers to
exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a bad read. Maybe it was a case of Vegas doing something that has a larger story that we just can't see right now. But maybe the Brewers are about to go on a 10-0 streak and nobody sees that coming. We can't necessarily get married to the loss or the misread. We just have to move on to the next game and understand that we can make our money elsewhere.
All right. Thank you so much, Vic.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Vic, can you call it a misread even though it was just a pop-up they missed? I mean, it seems so obvious.
Pop-up, I feel like they get paid too much to miss things like that. I think that was definitely theatrics, but the fact that it was theatrics has me watching them very closely for the next couple of weeks.
Okay. So you're saying we called it wrong because we thought the Brewers, we had the 1.5, but they let that pop-up drop. I'm completely in agreement with you. And then it was 4-2, and I don't think, then the rest of the game was pretty boring. So
yeah, they knew once they were out of the zone that they were like, all right, we don't have to do anything anymore. All we're worried about is the Brewers not covering today. That's all they were worried about. Because if they weren't, they would have kept playing. Score would have been 7-2. But once they got out of that zone, they were like, okay, cool, we're good, put the game on ice. That's how you know that there's about to be an ulterior motive going on with the Brewers.
And did that say anything to you? Like, okay, that confirms this is the Vegas slate, or this is the part of the half?
It probably just was a landmine that we didn't think was a landmine. That's all it is.
All right, we ready to go into general admission, my boy Vic. Take him over.
Let's get it. GA is sliding in right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a long morning, long afternoon. It definitely will be a long evening. We have a lot of baseball left. We have a lot of sports left. Shout out to everyone who has been on here, and shout out to everyone who is just now joining us. I'm sure you guys are probably getting off work, but this is where the knowledge and your information and your energy needs to be applied. Welcome back to the 5-day challenge. We're not doing no more questions. Now we're just doing the Super Soaker Sauce. I need somebody to write Super Soaker Sauce in the chat. So anytime I get off track, I look down and I remember I got to do Super Soaker Sauce. All right, cool. So what I want you guys to understand is we're going to try to like backtrack a little bit, because I feel like I hit y'all with a little too much sauce yesterday, and now y'all drowning in the sauce. And it's like, Vic, throw me a floaty, throw me a life jacket. I need something. Right or wrong? Throw me a life jacket. Bring me back to kindergarten with it. I'm about to have a motherfucking brain tumor. This is why Vic gave me too much sauce right now. The sauce is giving me diabetes. I'm about to regulate your blood sugar right now. All right, look. So what we're gonna talk about is a little bit about line reading and understanding how odds work. So what is going to change the game for you is understanding slight movements, what they mean, and when to apply them. So there was a situation 2 weeks ago. The Dodgers were the last game on the slate. They were actually in a Vegas slate. They're in a Vegas slot on the slate. The Dodgers went from -160 to -170. And I was like, okay, cool. That's the pick. That's the lock. And Remus texted me. He said the Yankees are going to win that game. And I was like, what makes you say that? Like I said, Tony Kukoc. I'm not sure if y'all were on the live last night, but Remus is Tony Kukoc. He's going to hit that 3 in the corner when you least expect him. So I respect his opinion. But when he told me that the Yankees were going to lose, the Yankees are going to win, I was like, nah, I don't think so, bro. I doubt it. Went out there and the Yankees blew the Dodgers out. The whole chat was devastated. I told the chat it was the Dodgers all day. Remus was like, yo, Vic, Yankees going to win. So the reason why the Yankees won that game is because the line movements are slot specific. If you are in a Vegas slot and the line is paying more, that is good movement. When I say more, I mean the game went from 105 to +110. Which one pays more? +110 or -105? Which one pays more?
+110.
+110 pays more. The reason why that works better in a Vegas slot is because what? When lines move like that, that means that the other team is getting a public overload, because the other team is going from +110 to -105. That means they're shifting it because so many people like that bet. Does that make sense? No. If a bet pays more, that means it's being neglected, AKA Vegas. It's being neglected, that's less people to pay out, that's lower liability for Vegas. Does that make sense? Cool. So now let's say we have a game on a public slate, -260. You check it's -260 in the morning, the Astros are playing the Nationals at -260. You check right before you're about to bet, and the Astros and Nationals are now -295 in a public zone. What does that mean?
This is essentially like a lock in this case, right?
That means it's a lock because everybody is on the bus. The bus is full, but guess what? We are going to the candy store. There's no scam involved. They just don't want to pay everyone -260. They're like, damn, this is going to hit, but I'd rather do -320. I'd rather y'all get -400. So when they make it go up in a public zone or a public slot, that means that it is more likely to hit. If it goes down in a public slot, run. Run. If Astros goes from
minus 260 to minus 220 in a public slot, run, cash out. I don't know if y'all are in the chat for that long, but I remember one day in a public slot, I don't remember what team it was, but the odds went down right before the game. And I said, get off the bus, evacuate. This is a scam. Everybody get off the bus. This is a pedophile driving the bus. He's taking us to where we don't want to go. The first time we did that, the pick initially lost. The second time it happened, I called it on the Braves. I made that little van meme and I put Braves money line free candy. The Braves ended up winning. And when I realized that they won, I realized it was because they were in a public slot. No, because they were in a Vegas slot. Like I said, when Vegas pays more, you're good to go. But I didn't know that yet. I saw them paying more before the game. And I'm like, oh shit, PTSD. We gotta go. I got everybody off the bus. Whole time, there was no harm, no foul. It was a Vegas slot. The reason why it was paying less and I got off the bus is because I thought that was a scam. But last time it was a scam, it was in a public slot. So the line movement is zone specific. I need everybody to write zone specific in the chat. Zone specific. The line movement is zone specific. So when you figure out what's paying you what, you need to figure out what zone it is in. That is what's going to take you to the promised land. So for example, we had the Tigers or the Tigers at pregame. I believe somebody said something about the plus or minus. I think it was the plus 1.5. Y'all remember the odds pregame? I believe it was minus 125 or minus 135.
I had him at plus 129 on Flash Score.
Plus 129. Did you get any movement?
I did not check or did not see. I was at work today, so I didn't know.
Okay, perfect. You got plus 129 on the money line or on the plus 1.5?
That'd be on the money line. That this is just on Flash Score. So they have like, I know you can't really see that. They have their own odds and it's usually different. I use Bet365 and Bet365's odds are a little bit different. Not much.
Okay, cool.
The plus 1.5 was at minus 120.
Okay, was that minus 120 when?
That was pregame. When you initially said we were going to do Tigers money line for game 2, I looked. So the money line was plus 122, but the plus 1.5 was minus 120, and that's what kind of
it was minus 120 pregame, right?
Yeah.
Now look at this. Look at when I got it. Minus 130. So minus 130 to minus 120, which one pays you more?
Minus 120.
Minus 120. So in a Vegas slot, if they are paying you more, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad.
It's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. That's a good thing. The reason why is because people are trying to direct people to go the other way. They're like, hey, I don't want you in my clubhouse. Go outside. The clubhouse got AC. We got snacks. We got Wi-Fi. We got chips. They made the Tigers look less attractive because they knew that that's where the game was going to land. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said the Tigers plus 1.5 was at minus 120 right before the game. I got it at minus 130. So if we draw the line movement, we have minus 130 when I got it, and then right before the game, it was minus 120. Minus 120 pays a lot better. So all you can think about is why would they want to give us more money? It's because they're making all that money from the people who are taking the Braves to cover the spread. Does that make sense?
So that means everybody's betting on the negative 1.5?
Yes, that means that they are betting on people to take the negative 1.5 and trying to make it look more attractive by making it look like a bigger favorite. So if you see the minus 1.5 at minus 160, and then it goes to minus 170, you're like, okay, that's the better pick. And they just covered the game before.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Take back, all right.
They just covered, so you're like, oh, duh, they're gonna cover again.
So this is for game 2, right?
This is game 2.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, this is game 2. I would have called a live under if I wasn't busy with y'all, but I'm about to show y'all why I would have called a live under. So if you are confident in the setup of the game, if you are confident that the Tigers are going to cover plus 1.5, right? Are we confident, or were we confident?
Yes, very.
Yeah, we're confident.
We
Yeah.
were confident because we did our studying, we did our research, and we called the bet in the chat pre-game. That means we're confident. Once I press enter, the confidence, it's undeniable, right?
Yeah.
Now in the 7th inning, I believe the score. Oh no! In the 6th inning, the score was Braves 6, Tigers 5. If the game went on ice, did the Tigers cover?
Yep.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So when it's 6-5 in the 6th inning, you can assume that they're about to say, okay, leave it alone. Don't mess with it. When it's 6-5, Vegas is like, cool, we're right where we need to be. Don't mess with it. What does that mean?
Gonna be on night.
That means
Under.
that means no more scoring. Put your backs down. That means no more scoring. Put your backs down. We're right where we need it. Don't even mess with it. The under at the time when I noticed the game could have went on ice was 14.5. The current under right now is 11.
Damn.
That's how you get a 2-piece for $1. 2 for $1. Once you realize, oh, the game is on ice here, they're gonna leave it alone. Shit, give me under 14.5. Then all you gotta do is think about the other possible scenarios for it to still be what you need it to be. Let's say it's 6-5, and you have under 14, right? Let's say 6-5, you have under 14. How many ways can this go wrong if the Tigers still cover? The Tigers can tie it 6-6 and then win 7-6. What's 7 plus 6?
13.
So your under is still good and your spread is still good. Now let's say the Braves go up 7-5. Now the Tigers creep back up and go 7-6. What's 7 plus 6?
13.
Did the Tigers cover 7-6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So 14.5 is the sweet spot for, okay, cool. The game can go on ice here and they can still keep scoring, but still get the job done.
Yeah. Wow.
But my brain thinks about all of this in 2 seconds. Like the way I just explained it, you're probably like, okay, let me do the math. Let me figure out the possible scenarios. By that time, 14 has turned into 12. And you're just like, damn it. I can be like, boom, 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 boom. All right, under 14.5 live right now.
Vaccine.
Because I have the vaccine. I'm vaccinated. Y'all are unvaccinated. So get away from me. But nah, so that's literally all it takes to call live picks and live games and live over-unders. Once the mission is accomplished, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I ain't talking about the Braves being up 2-1 in the bottom of the first, and you're like, okay, it's done. Under. No. They still got to entertain the fans. But when they're halfway through the game, and it's 6-5, we already had a game. We already watched it. People are leaving already. Might as well put it on ice.
I had a quick question, Vic.
Go ahead.
At one point in the game, they had a plus 2.5 at even pay, and I thought about taking it because I already had the plus 1.5. On those, is that what you say? Like, is that a good look for a double dip as well? Because I already got the 1.5.
That is a good look for a double dip, but like I said, it depends on the confidence. If I have absolute confidence in a 1.5 and the Braves are up 9-0, give me the 2.5, the 3.5, the 4.5, the 5.5, all the way up to the 8.5. Give me all of them. Because by the end of the game, the Tigers are going to be on steroids. Just like what happened today. I had utmost confidence in plus 1.5, and people were DMing me crying. Oh, they're up 5-1. The game's over. I hate this chat. Y'all lost me my money. By the time I could even press enter, the score was 5-5. And I'm like, y'all just got to relax.
I see.
So that's when it's early leads.
Yeah, early leads, especially because when it's a Vegas type of game or when it's like a scam type of game, the person who scores first is 80% of the time, the nigga that's gonna lose.
Facts. That's true. I've seen that.
That's how it be. When it's a public game, the person who scores first, 80% of the time, they're gonna win. But in Vegas, that's not necessarily a Vegas game. This is just a double header, so it's a different situation. But they had the Braves win the first game, and then they had them start out strong the second game. So everybody be like, I knew it. I knew the Braves were going to win. I knew they were going to cover. I knew minus 1.5 was going to hit. And the Tigers said, nah, brother, we're going to start hooping. They're going to cover that spread. What did I say in the chat? I said, I don't like the money line. I like the spread.
The spread hit.
I said, give me the spread. Everybody was asking me, Vic, what do you think about the money line? I said nothing about the money line. Give me the spread.
It's exactly like what's going on in the Braves Tigers game right now. They're top of the ninth at 6-5. It was 6-5, I think, in the sixth inning. And yeah, so that under, like you just talked about, would have hit for sure.
Of course it would have. And I would have dropped it in the chat, but I'm talking to y'all about it.
Hey, yo, Vic, quick question. So you said when there's public and Vegas times that schedules, within those schedules, certain times are also Vegas and public times, or is that just within the schedule?
Repeat your question. I'm not sure
So
what you mean by
so
it.
like if it was like a Vegas day, okay, it was like a Vegas day. So the first and the bottom are going to be public, right? And then within in the middle is going to be Vegas, right?
Right.
Is there certain times within that Vegas day, like say 7:45, a game starts and there's a game at 8, boom, that game at 8 is going to be public and the game at 7 is going to be Vegas, or is it going to always be Vegas?
Would those be the last two games, or are these just within the entire slate?
Within the loaf.
Within the loaf, you just have to watch out for landmines. You have to find the moldy slices of bread.
Okay.
That's it. Find the moldy slices and throw them out.
Got you.
Hey, real quick, Vic, I had a question too. I heard you say that the first team that scores in like a Vegas game, you're saying that 80% of the time that team is going to win. Is that like one of the rules that you do, or not?
80% of the time they're gonna lose if they score.
They're gonna
first in
lose.
Vegas.
Oh, they lose. Okay. That's it.
It's like a rug pool.
What
Yo,
about
Vic, another question is, do you ever double dip with money lines and spreads on the same team, or you just stick with spreads only?
Sometimes I double dip with money lines, but then essentially that's like a hedge. If I had the Giants winning 3 games and they're down 3, I'm just gonna take the spread.
Okay, got it.
That's like super roach behavior. If you're like, oh, I like that winning, they're down 7, give me the money line again. I'm like, damn, give me 6.5.
I be doing that shit in the chat, no cap.
No, hey, and if it works, it works.
Vic, can we get another example of a line move?
Sure.
Maybe even in a game that hasn't taken place yet.
Yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so Braves minus 1.5 right now is plus 800, which means that the Tigers are 90% chance to cover, because that Braves minus 1.5 is paying 10 times your money on the return.
Yo, Vic, can you repeat that?
I was saying that the Braves minus 1.5 right now, they got them at plus 800. So what that means is that it's a very, very, very unlikely chance that the Braves are going to cover the spread at this point. But what that also means simultaneously that the Tigers are going to cover.
That shit just cashed too.
Why do you say that? I didn't get it.
Now it's plus 1,400, because this plus 1,400 means if this hits, then our pick loses. But the chance of it hitting based on the odds are extremely low, because they're trying to pay 1,400 if the Braves cover. But we had Tigers. If the Tigers cover plus 1.5, that's minus 5,000 right now. But we got it at minus 120.
That makes sense.
So basically, the game is winding down, but this is how healthy our pick looks.
I see. Thank you.
Yep. Isn't it crazy that I don't watch baseball and don't know anything about baseball, but I'm calling bangers?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Isn't that weird? That's not weird.
It's crazy.
That shit wild as fuck.
The vaccine is crazy.
All that shit is all
Amen.
said.
That's it's not even about the sport. It's about like Vegas or not. Honestly.
Yep. All right. What are we looking for? A potential line movement?
Yeah, maybe like something that hasn't taken place yet. I know maybe not the Mets game, but like, shoot, maybe even the Dodgers.
We just got one. We just got one. The Pirates is paying. I think they're paying more now. I didn't see what it was at first, but it just moved. Does anybody have the Pirates or the Cubs on their tickets right now? Does anybody have the Pirates or the Cubs?
I got the Pirates plus 1.5.
What was the odds on that?
Minus 140.
Okay, so now it's minus 150. So they're paying less in a public slot.
What does that mean?
If they're paying less in a public slot,
Isn't that the Vegas
you
slot?
should be good.
I should be straight, right? Yeah.
No, that's a Vegas slot. That's a Vegas
That's
slot. You might be
Vegas.
cooked, my brother.
Oh no.
Or the Pirates lose by exactly 1 and the Cubs win. It's either that or the Pirates gonna fuck you up. Or the Cubs gonna fuck you up. So you got minus 140 at plus 1.5, right?
Yes.
Okay, now it's minus 150 in Vegas.
That's the fake, right?
It would hit if it was in public, but not anymore. You're in Vegas and they're trying to pay you more. Yeah, cash out.
Oh, that was the game that they didn't post. Vic, that was the game that they didn't post last night when I said I couldn't find the game.
The Pirates and Cubs?
They didn't remember last night. I was like, man, I didn't know the other team.
You did say that. You did say that. It might be a landmine. I'm about to double check. Hold on. Because when they do things like that, they're doing that on purpose.
It moved to minus 145 just now.
I just saw that. See, they're playing around with the lines. They're trying to make that bitch dance.
They didn't have that game last night.
Yeah, but didn't the Pirates open up at plus 120 originally?
When I first this morning, it was plus 120. Yeah, Pirates.
Yeah, it's paying more now. It's paying more.
Yeah, mine was minus 160. Now it's minus 150.
What was the odds yesterday for them?
They didn't have no odds yesterday.
It wasn't on Bovada, but I think somebody else in the chat had it.
Check Action Pro and see what the odds were for them yesterday.
They were plus 110 and they got blown out. The Pirates.
They were plus 110 and got blown out. And then
Yeah,
today they
3-11.
opened up at plus 120.
How did you see that, bro? Did you already have a picture or you had like an app?
No, I have the app.
You just go on the app and you go to the previous day and it'll show you everything.
Yep.
Oh, okay, nice. What app is that?
The Action Network Pro.
Okay, yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
And we're in a public setting, right?
Mm-hmm. It's two.
We're in a public setting. The game also went over yesterday. So the focus might be on the total and not the winner or the loser.
But how did you determine that just now?
That shit's crazy. What the fuck?
Because in this case, the lines for the winner and loser didn't move much. So if the lines stay consistent, the over-under might be the pool. So if I was to look at this game based on what, I'm not sure who had Pirates plus 1.5, based on whoever he put, I think for the public, they let the Cubs win again. And to recoup, they make the game go under.
So you're saying I got a chance?
I think they let the Cubs win again, but they let the game go under. That's basically what I think just by looking at it. The Cubs aren't a better team. Cubs aren't a better team. That's why they're only minus 155. If they were the better team and then won 11-3 yesterday, they'd be like minus 190. Does that make sense?
Yeah, especially with Drew Smiley pitching.
They're still technically underdogs, and the pitcher on the mound isn't really, he's making sure the odds are tight. So let's look up his ERA.
Pittsburgh's his rookie.
His ERA is 3.2.
Pirates are
so It might have to do with the pitchers. That's my quick glance. Like I said, this is not a lock. I haven't studied it. I haven't looked at it. Obviously, but Bovada is tucking this game specifically and flashing it on the website so they don't get people to jump in too much. But a reason why they might be flashing it is because the Cubs is a no-brainer and they don't want people to eat on that. That's my only opinion that I could come up with. But like I said, we don't have to take every game. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a note. We could just screenshot it. We had the Cubs and we had the under. We could just take a screenshot. We don't got to put any money. We can just put down a screenshot. We can make a mental note instead of a bank note. Does that make sense?
The bar.
Oh. Okay. Go ahead.
Vic, you said something about the line not moving. For example, the Royals, again, they're at minus 105. From yesterday, they were minus 105. They lost by 1. Today, again, they're minus 105, lost 9 straight. What does that mean?
Lost 9 straight, and the odds are exactly the same.
2 days in a row.
Did they cover yesterday?
Yes, 5-4.
5-4?
Yep.
Lost 9 straight. Covered yesterday.
One of the worst
money line odds.
MLB.
What's the Reds' record?
$33-35.
No,
right,
the Royals.
Royals
tell me
18-49.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, they're ass.
Now tell me something about the pitchers. Tell me the story about the pitchers.
Lance Lynn pitched yesterday, and he's like 0 of 10 with like a 7 ERA tonight.
Daniel Lynch with a 4.47. Then we have Ben Lively with the 4.24. These pitchers are evenly matched, but for some reason, the lines make absolutely no sense. So in this case, this is a landmine. Lost 9 games straight, and you're minus 105. Ignore that game. That is a moldy slice of bread.
Okay.
Y'all are getting better at decoding because y'all are bringing me the only games that are janky instead of bringing me games that make sense. I'm like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. This team is way better. This pitch is way better. Duh. But y'all are bringing me the games that smell bad, which is, hey, them K9s, them Bloodhounds, that's what y'all need to be. And that's what y'all are right now. And I think that's what's going to make you better at taking these tumors out of the slate so you have a healthy body. And the Tigers give Vic a round of applause.
Let's go, Vic.
Let's go.
Straight up going.
Fucking go.
Yeah, man.
We hit picks during the webinar. During the webinars.
Crazy.
Man. No, and I don't know nothing about none of these guys. All I know is Vegas is a scammer. You just gotta think like a scammer.
Yes, sir. Vic, I have a question, but you low-key already answered it already.
What up?
So basically, if the Vegas days, the unexpected happen on the Vegas days, and the expected happens on the public days, and me as a beginner, would it be better for me to just test both of those waters out for me to build my intellect on finding the tumor or that moldy bread, or just stick to public games right now?
I would try both. That's the quickest way. What I would do as a beginner, and what everyone should do as a beginner, is to break down the slate based on what you see and the times, based on the first slice of bread and the time correlation, the last slice of bread and the time correlation, and then write everything down if it was a public day or a Vegas day. Do a list that, okay, this is my public slate, and then do a list that's a Vegas slate, obviously with respective first and last being inverse, and track the results. You don't even have to bet. Just read,
just grade ourselves,
watch, and take notes. Just grade yourself. Grade yourself. And then after day 10, you're like, okay, I know exactly what days are what, and I know what brain to bring out on Tuesday. I know what brain to bring out on Wednesday. I know what brain to bring out on Thursday. How would you not be a profitable bettor?
That's smart. Hella smart.
Paper trading sports picks. Literally.
Yes, sir.
Once you're ready to get out of demo mode, then you put your real bread in there and you flip that bitch times 10.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it, literally the money is endless. I paid myself $100,000 today. $100,000 based on the money that I made last week. So I'm about to buy a new car. So I was like, fuck it. Might as well pull from my personal ATM.
That's tough.
It doesn't even sound real. It's like a GTA cheat code. I went up, 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 down, 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 X, triangle, square, boom, like everybody write GTA cheat code if you want the cheat codes.
Of course.
You ever play GTA and be like, damn, I got no money? You go online and be like GTA unlimited money code. And you go get the cheat code and you put that bitch in. Now you buying Bugattis.
Duplicate card.
We doing that in real life.
Yes, sir.
We're doing that in real life.
That's crazy.
So now I have my picks set in the schedule. It should be automatic. I set some picks out automatically at 5:55 p.m. So let's go ahead and break those down.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and break those down.
Sauce.
What were the picks? What were the picks that I dropped in the chat at 5:55 p.m.?
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
You said Blue Jays?
All right, so we have the Mets and Jays. Let's try to walk through. Let's try to walk through the process of how I came up with that pick. Okay, so what happened last time the Blue Jays played?
Orioles blew out 11-6 yesterday.
11-6.
Orioles blew them out, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What was the last thing to happen? Did the favorite win the previous game, or did the underdog win the previous game?
Underdog. I think the underdog won again.
No. I mean, like on the slate for today.
Underdog won. Or not?
Underdog. No, favorites one.
No, favorite one. Braves won. Yeah.
The Braves won as the favorite, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever taken a test in middle school or high school and you're just going through the motions and then you notice that you have C, and you're like, that can't be right.
4 in a row.
Yeah. Something's up. Let me go back and look at these C's and break this shit up. There ain't no way it's 4 C's in a row, right?
Yeah.
You got to pick the same way when you look at your slate on the Scantron. If you have favorite, you got to go back and be like, no, it can't be this easy.
Yeah.
So without looking at what happened prior to the Blue Jays and the Orioles, what happened before the Blue Jays and the Orioles? A favorite one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So now we can bet that there's not going to be spam with another favorite winning. That's confirmation number one. Now we look at the underdog. Where is this game being played? What slot is this game being played? Welcome to
Vegas.
Everybody say welcome to Vegas right now.
Welcome to Vegas.
Everybody say welcome to Vegas.
Welcome to
Vegas.
Welcome to Vegas. What happened the last time these two teams played?
Orioles blew them out.
Orioles won.
The Orioles bet them over.
Yeah.
So
They got stomped.
what is the most Vegas shit to happen today if the Orioles beat them 11-3 last time they played? What's the most Vegas
Blue
thing to
Jays
happen?
one.
Blue Jays blow them out. Blue Jays
The
blew
Blue
them
Jays
out.
win.
They cover spreads.
Interesting. That seems to make sense. So we had a game prior, a favorite one. Now we have an underdog that we're projecting to win that's playing in a Vegas slot that just got stomped on the day before. I like the Blue Jays odds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Run
what
that back. Run that back, Vic. Run that back in order. So the first thing was what now?
First thing was we looked at what happened the game prior, and we had a favorite win the game. The favorite won. So now we're like, maybe it's going to be an underdog. I just don't want to have favorite back to back. It's probably going to be favorite then an underdog. So we look at the underdog and we're looking at the Blue Jays. Now we're like the Blue Jays and the Orioles playing in a Vegas slot. What would be the most Vegas thing to happen based on what happened last time they played?
Yeah,
the Orioles that they would cover. I see.
Blue Jays.
So now I like the Blue Jays because they just got bent over and they're in a Vegas slot. And the team that won prior to them even getting on the field was a public win or a favorite win.
Also, the Orioles.
So why
have
not
won
switch it
5
up?
straight.
Say what?
Orioles have won 5 straight.
Orioles have won 5 straight?
Yeah.
Yep.
Even better.
Even, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at this guy, bro.
Welcome to Vegas. Even better. Even
So-
fucking better.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right.
All right, next game. Next game, we have the Mets and the Yankees. Okay, this is the game that was brought up earlier. We had them two
Yeah,
evenly matched teams.
that game got delayed, no?
Yeah, it's getting delayed.
Here's the link.
The Mets and the Yankees?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delayed.
Cash out.
I can't do no
Also-
delays, brother.
Yeah, they in a rain delay.
Oh, a rain delay? A rain delay is not bad.
Yeah.
It might mess up the slate. It might mess up the slate, but honestly, I don't think that that's a big issue. I'd rather nothing happen than a loss happen. So fuck it, let it rain. Does anybody have any questions? Let's break down that Blue Jays game one more time. What is step one in my analysis? What was step one in my confirmation?
Look at the game prior to prior game score.
Previous game outcome. Everybody write down previous game outcome.
Previous game outcome. Step one.
Outcome.
And then write no spam. SPAM. Because when you see them C on your Scantron, you're like, ain't no way.
No spamming favorite.
We're trying to avoid spamming. Especially when we cross into a new zone. We're in Vegas now. We don't want to spam. We're in Vegas. Next thing that we looked at was the prior game result from the matchup. So what happened the last time the Blue Jays and the Orioles played?
11-6.
Orioles blow them out.
What was the score?
11-6.
11 to what?
11-6.
Do you feel like that is a convincing win?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not 11 to 10 because that's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Right.
They doubled their amount of runs. Do you feel like that's convincing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Orioles
the
are
step?
also we're just looking at the previous matchup or whatever happened the last time these two teams faced each other.
Hey Vic, so would you say 9 times out of 10, not or maybe even 80% of the time, if a team is blown out another team, let's say out of the 7 matchups they face, one team has won 6 out of the matchups, or maybe 5 of the matchup out of the 7 times they faced each other, would you say 9 times out of 10 it's going to favor the underdog, like the team that hasn't won as much? Or let's say it's a blowout like of now, like the other team has won 7 times, it's 7-0. Would you say like 9 times out of 10 it's like one of those, like the other team has to win, so it's usually going to happen in a Vegas slot, not versus really in a public slot, because the public's going to be like, oh, they 7-0 against them, of course they're going to go 8-0 and they go cover. So it's usually going to happen on a Vegas night where you're like, yeah, let's go with this underdog here. They're going to take
a perfect example of what you just listed is watching where the Rays are positioned in every schedule that they get.
Okay.
The Rays are always put in the easiest position for them to win. If it's a Vegas day, the Rays play first. Why?
Because
It's a public
pick.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So think about the slot that they're put in. So if you want to knock a team off their high horse, put them in a Vegas slot.
Right.
Yeah. See how they perform.
Right. Okay.
If you want the Rays to have 60 wins halfway through the season, give them an easy schedule and keep putting them in public slots. The Rays, the play, I'd be pissed off if I was a Rays player. What you mean we played last night at 9 p.m., now we got to play at 10 a.m.?
Straight up.
I mean, why don't we just play at the same time every night? They're moving them around so they can dance and avoid the L's. They're avoiding the L's because they're being positioned in public slots or positions that fit their narrative of the team.
They keeping them boys tired. That's crazy.
Man.
So let me
They ain't
get
tired
these
enough.
steps right. Let me get these steps right. So it's previous game outcome, and then it's the look at the slots that they're in, right? I didn't see you say that step about the slots.
I don't know shit.
So previous game outcome, and then make sure you're not spamming. Make sure you're not spamming. So you look at the slate at face value and make sure you're not bubbling the same answers over and over. So we did get that confirmation when the favorite and the Braves won. So we can expect maybe an underdog to finally win here.
Vic, I got a question. I know you
Go
said
ahead.
previous game matchup and previous matchup. Just to be clear, if it's game one of the series, are you looking at the game they played the day before, 2 days before, whatever, or are you looking at the previous matchup when they might have played earlier in the year?
If we're looking at the game one in the series, then we're just going to focus on what day it is, what slot they're in, and then what they did the day before.
Got it. Thank you. So we're always basically looking the day before, even the not necessarily the previous matchup of the history of those two teams playing.
Yeah. So if let's say the Astros play the Orioles and they finish out the series, the Astros beat the Orioles 6-1 on their last day playing, right? Let's say they played on a Monday, they're a public game. Now it's Tuesday. The Astros are playing again. They just won 6-1 against a different team. Now they're playing the Brewers. Look at what slot they're in. If the Astros are in a public slot on that Tuesday, that means they're going to win again. If they're in a Vegas slot on that Tuesday, that means either the over-under is going to change, the amount of coverage is going to change, or the winner or the loser is going to change. But the lines are going to tell you that. If the Astros are minus 210 on Monday, and then they go down to minus 140 on Tuesday, you can assume that there's going to be a switch in the winner or loser. And once you know that there's going to be a switch, you're like, okay, cool. How can I confirm this switch? What slot are they playing in? Then you see they're in a Vegas slot, and you're like, okay, I have all the answers. Minus 210 yesterday, minus 140 today, coming off a big dub yesterday, playing minus 140 in a Vegas slot today. You got the line movement, you got the slot, you got the previous day information. The Astros are going to lose on Tuesday.
Hey, that's game right there. Because one thing I've noticed being in chat is you like certain teams. Like I see the Braves a lot. I see the Astros, the Rays, and everything you're saying lets us know we can watch those. I mean, we'd say those are the better teams, right? So you can watch them and check that line movement, and that's an easy way to check and see that that's some game right there.
Yep, you can follow one or two teams throughout the entire season and just watch where they're placed, and you'll pretty much be 90% accurate. Watch the line movement, watch where they're placed, and you'll be 90% accurate. That's why we don't try to touch every single team. We just touch the teams that we know that basically their story. And the reason why I can't necessarily take a break is because if you miss a page in the book, you're not going to get the whole story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like every time I'm going to refer, what happened yesterday? What was the score? If I wasn't there, I got to ask somebody. But if I was there, I can remember. Have y'all seen me like bring numbers of like teams and their records off the top of my head? I'm like, oh, the Mets or the Yankees, yeah, they have 39 and the other team has 31. And you're just like, he's not even looking at anything. It's because I was there. But imagine if I went to Cancun and I came back 3 days later and I'm like, all right, guys, what do we got? And y'all got to tell me. Versus me knowing the entire patterns, the entire records, the entire score gaps, who covered, who didn't, what favorites won, what favorites didn't, where was their upsets. Like, that's how you get locked in. When somebody can say, hey, Logan, how many wins do the Rays have right now? And you can answer quickly, that's when you know you're locked in. Phil, how many games have the Mets lost this season? Are they on a winning streak or on a losing streak? That's when you know you're locked in, if you can answer that question without pulling out a resource.
No days off.
No days off. Ain't no days off. Vic, they be like, Vic, you need to take a mental break. How?
You go more crazy if you miss out a day.
Man.
You got a village depending on you.
That's crazy. Yep. But now I'm teaching y'all, so y'all don't gotta depend on me no more.
Facts.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Y'all helping me. I don't want gray hairs. I hit my max. I hit my max capacity of gray hairs. I got 10 of them. I was like, nope, I'm gonna start teaching this. I don't got time to be the only one doing this no more. I'm gonna start teaching.
Yeah. So Vic, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Obviously, the night is still young. There's still a ton of games going on, but it looks like, I know we were predicting it was going to be a mixed day, but so far it's looking like it's a Vegas day, right? We had the Braves covering and the Twins covering the first two games, and then we had the Giants, which were the underdogs. They won in the next slot, and then we had the Tigers also covering the next slot, so that's kind of like two Vegas picks, right?
We can't just look at the value, the face value of what the result is. We have to look at the entire story. So you're focusing on pages when I'm focusing on the entire book. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So based on the slate that we have, we can break it down right here. So the first two games we had the Braves and the Tigers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Brewers and who else?
Twins.
The Twins.
Twins.
Brewers, Twins. And those people played according to us in Vegas, right?
Yes.
So let's look at this. I want to show y'all. So it's safe to say that this is accurate, right? Braves, Tigers, Vegas, Brewers, Twins, Vegas, right?
Yes.
The reason why the Braves are considered a Vegas pick is because guess what happened the day before?
They lost.
The Tigers won. Vegas would mean the Braves win.
Okay.
Now we're looking at the Brewers and the Twins. The reason why it was a bad read is because the Brewers were supposed to cover, but I'm sure Vegas saw something that we couldn't see that was like, nah, I need y'all to throw the game, abort mission, mid-game. And whatever happened there happened.
Okay.
Now we're in a public zone. What's the public zone?
The Giants, Cardinals.
Giants, Cardinals, last game.
Jack just put their under on the Pirates Cubs, the one you called earlier.
Okay, listen. The Giants and the Cardinals played in what zone?
Public zone.
They played in a public zone, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday, they won 11-3. So what is a public pick for the Giants?
Giants win. Giants cover.
Giants to win
The
again.
Giants win again.
Giants
With
win.
Temple.
Hey Vic, I got a question.
Go
Hold on,
ahead.
run that back, Vic.
So how do you know?
Can we run that Giants back again? Because I mean, it's hard to. I mean, that's tough. Can we run that Giants back again?
All right. So real quick. Based on the zones, because I'm writing the zones out. The first zone is Vegas. The second zone is public. So all the games in this zone are going to be public. The reason why the Giants won again is because what did they do the day before?
They won.
They won.
One.
So if you see them win 11-3, you can assume that they're probably going to win again, this being in a public slot. And what happened?
They won.
All right.
Got it. My fault, man. Whoever was talking. My bad.
So can you explain what do you mean by like zone and like public and Vegas zones?
Okay, so the reason why it's so hard to explain today is because today is not a generic or organic slate. We're just wiggling through the slate based on what they're throwing at us. But like I said, throughout the challenge, we're going to get more organic slates and I'll be able to actually break it down. So if you missed the breakdown from last night at 3 a.m., I actually broke down this slate because it's a very heavily customized slate. So we had to call some audibles on our way down, but we're able to break it down. So what I'm going to do for everyone who missed the call last night, I'm going to break it down right now. Okay, cool? Okay, cool. So
Hey, Vic, you gonna have another 3 a.m. tonight or tomorrow morning?
I'll probably be studying, but if I do, then I'll let y'all know. But I have to fly to Atlanta tomorrow, so
Okay, word.
I might call it a night and just study on the plane. Okay, cool. So we have the Braves are in the public zone with the Tigers, right?
No.
Yes.
Right. Braves, Tigers. Okay, cool. So the Braves are in the public zone with the Tigers. What did the Braves do in the game prior?
Mm.
So it's not far-fetched for them to it's not far-fetched for them to win again. The only thing we're gonna focus on is the cover. They did not cover in the second game because the two games had inverse lines. What was the line for the first game?
Minus 260.
What was the line for the second game?
Minus 140.
That's a huge drop.
Mm-hmm.
So you can assume that has something to do with the cover. But because they're in the public zone, you see that the Braves won earlier. So you're like, okay, cool. Give me the Braves again.
You're saying
Don't touch that minus 1.5.
You're saying the public zone because of how early their slate of games were.
I'm saying public zone because on Wednesdays, the
Okay,
first half, while people are at work, is usually public.
Got it. All right.
This game happened while the average person was at work. Okay, so we have the Braves, public. Peep this for my real roaches. The Braves didn't cover, but what did they do that was similar to the first game besides win?
Hit the over.
Huh?
Hit the over.
They covered the over.
It hit the over. Who said that?
I did.
Who said that?
Brian.
I need a first and last name.
Brian Angelino.
You won $100. But look,
There you go, brother.
I
Let's
need
go.
you guys to understand. Vegas, they give and they take. But they will never give you more than they're taking. The reason why it still went over was because the Tigers covered. So they were like, damn, we got to give them something else because the Tigers are going to cover. Because the Braves aren't going to cover the spread, we got to give them something else. They're like, fuck it, give them the over again. That's a no-brainer. They're not going to cover -1.5, but just give them the over again. If the Braves covered the second game, I guarantee you that game would have went under. Because Vegas is not like, damn, they covered twice? Fuck that. Make this game 2-0. Fuck that. Does that make sense? They were like, okay, we're gonna bless you, but we're gonna hold you at the same time. We're gonna bless you, giving you the dub. We're gonna hold you, taking away your cover, but then we're gonna bless you, giving you the over, so you don't cry about the cover. It's a conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So who else is in the public section? I think we're done with the public, right? Have we successfully navigated through the slate so far? We have the Braves and Tigers in Vegas, the Brewers and the Twins in Vegas as well, but we couldn't really decode that game because something happened. Somebody got on the phone with somebody. We ignored it. Right now, we are 3 for 4 based on line reading. We are 3 for 4 based on line reading. I don't watch baseball. Does anybody in here watch baseball for real? For real?
No.
Nah.
Wait, what's
We're
the
3
question?
for 4. We're 3 for 4 based on line reading, guys. Is that not amazing?
That's crazy.
Okay, cool. So now, welcome to what?
Vegas.
New zone. Now you're on another line. You put a V. We are now in Vegas. Who's playing in Vegas?
Jays, Orioles.
Orioles and Blue Jays.
Jays, Orioles.
Mets, Yankees.
So these are the 5 o'clock games when people getting out of work.
People are getting out of work. We're in a new zone. Welcome to Vegas. Everybody say welcome to Vegas.
Welcome
to Vegas.
Okay, cool. Now we're
Vegas.
gonna decode this game again. What happened the last time the Jays and the Orioles played?
Orioles.
Blew them out.
And the Orioles are on a how many game winning streak?
5.
In Vegas, I like the Jays because they just got stomped and these guys are on a winning streak. Vegas is gonna put that fire out. Who's playing next?
Rockies, Red Sox.
Yeah.
Nah, that game is delayed.
Delayed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pirates, Cubs.
Yankees,
Mets.
Wait, which isn't Yankees Mets is delayed, right?
Rockies,
No,
Red Sox,
Yankees,
delayed
Mets
too.
just started.
Okay.
Mets is next.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Yankees and Mets got delayed.
They were,
They were a little bit.
but they just started.
Boston's still delayed.
Oh, so we good. Yeah, they're about to start. Okay, Yankees, Mets. Who's the better team?
Yankees.
Yankees.
Who won the last game?
Yankees.
The Yankees won the last game and they're the better team?
Right.
Yeah.
Vegas spot.
I'm
So
gonna have
Mets.
to go with the Mets.
Vegas. Because the lines just changed to minus 145 for the Mets in top of the
What
first.
was it at first?
minus 130.
It was minus 130, now it's minus 145.
I had him at minus 110.
Yeah, minus
Yeah,
one.
same.
Yeah, 110. They were even.
Yeah, 110.
110.
What are the Yankees now?
A plus 110. 105.
105.
Game
Plus
started up.
110 on mine.
So they're trying to
one.
pay the Yankees. They're trying to pay the Yankees more, even
So
though
they
the
can run
game
both.
just started.
Game just
No,
started. Yeah.
I think the top of the first
So-
is over, so I think that's why they changed.
Oh, the top first already over. Okay, thank God. I was about to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're already playing.
Yeah, the game
So
started.
if they're already playing, then the line movement's natural.
Yeah.
So I
Okay,
still
okay.
like the Mets. Y'all almost gave me a heart attack. Okay. We got the Pirates and the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They're playing where?
Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
I got Angels and Rangers. Oh yeah,
Are they
Pirates.
playing?
They play at the same time.
Angels, Rangers, and Pirates in the club.
And Pirates
Are
and
they
Cubs.
playing? Are they playing in Vegas or are they playing in public?
Public.
They're playing in Vegas.
They're both playing in Vegas at 8:05.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to write down as many teams as I can. Okay, so we got the Pirates and the Cubs. Who's the better team between these two?
Pirates.
Pirates.
The Pirates. Who won the last game?
Cubs. 11-3.
Cubs 11.
Okay, so the Cubs won the last game 11-3 convincingly, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like the underdog beat them by a little bit and got lucky. Now everybody's gonna ride the favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a convincing win from a slightly worse team. So now you can look and see who's getting the bonus, who's getting the spread, who's getting the bonus point.
Cubs.
The Cubs are getting the bonus point.
Yeah.
the Pirates should.
Cubs are minus 155 right now. Minus 1.5.
Oh, the bonus point.
No. That means the Pirates are getting the bonus point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So now we have to look into why the lines are the way they are. This might be a tumor. If we can extract it, fine. If we can't, we move on. What were the lines yesterday when the Cubs beat the Pirates?
Pirates are 125 and the Cubs are minus 150.
Cubs were minus 150.
Yeah.
The Cubs were minus 150 yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay, if the Cubs were minus 150 yesterday and the game went over, I believe that we can get, like I said on the screen, the Cubs to win again as the underdog and the game to go under. Because like I said, Vegas gives and they take. They might give you this again, but they're not gonna let you get an 11-3 game again.
Would you weigh anything in regards to the line if it's at? I think my man said 150. I see 128, and then today they're at minus 150. Yesterday
Yeah, they were at 130 yesterday.
Oh, 130 yesterday.
Yeah, today
Yeah, they're
they're
at 150 now.
If they're at 130 yesterday and now they're at 155, then shit, we sit back and get entertained.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
That makes sense.
All right, moving on. We're looking at
Those that Jay and Mets, were those just regular money lines or are those the spreads?
I don't know. What did I put?
Money lines.
Okay,
Money line.
my bad.
Oh, I put money line. I'm a fiend. I wrote these up last night at 3 a.m. and just scheduled them out. So I don't even remember what goes out when it goes out.
Word.
Okay. Next we have the
Reds,
Rangers
Royals.
and the Angels. Oh,
yeah, that's
never
right.
mind. I lied.
No, you're
I'm
right.
getting
Rangers, Angels.
The
Yeah,
Reds.
you're right.
Yeah, Angels, Rangers. That's what I'm getting. We're almost out of time here, but we're gonna try to get this done quick. Okay, so from the Angels and Rangers all the way down to the Nationals and Astros. I mean, all the way down to the Red Sox and Rockies. Wait, they moved that game. The Red Sox and Rockies was moved. Okay, so Angels, Rangers, all the way down to Rockies, Red Sox. Whether that game gets played or not, there is a time gap between the Nationals and Astros and the Guardians and the Padres, right?
Yes.
Don't switch.
So now we're in public.
Now we're in public again. Keep what time those games start.
6:40.
9:40. Well, all
Eastern.
4 of them start at 8:40 on the dot.
Yeah.
We can assume that these games are dedicated to Vegas's debt to the public from Monday. That's why they're tucked at the bottom of the slate right there.
Oh.
Everybody write public debt.
Public debt.
So it's possible to see underdogs win.
It's possible to see what we've been seeing for the past couple of days.
It's like the A's winning again.
It's possible to see the A's cover again. It's possible. If they were playing in Vegas, then we'd have the Rays finally put some oppression on them. But guess what? We're in public. And then after the public debt, guess what we have? The final
Vegas,
what's
the Dodgers.
What's the boss battle?
The White Sox, Dodgers.
White Sox and
Vegas.
Dodgers.
What happened the last time the White Sox and Dodgers played? I believe it was 5-1.
5-1.
5-1. 5-1. Who's the better team?
Dodgers.
By how much? What, give me some records. Give me some details. Convince me that the Dodgers are better.
Dodgers
29
wins, 29 loss.
White Sox 29 wins.
39 losses.
All right, so the White Sox have 29 wins.
Yeah,
29
the
wins.
Dodgers have 38.
And the Dodgers have 38. So we have a 9-win difference. So the Dodgers are clearly better. They just won. So what do y'all think about the Vegas slot right here?
White Sox.
White Sox.
White Sox for sure. Definitely White Sox.
Especially with Kershaw pitching. Yeah.
So screenshot this. This is the slate. We just walked through this entire slate. You cannot use this on any other day because, like I said, this is an anomaly week where we had the NBA and NHL championship end in the same week. We are now dealing with the public debt slate where the slate is skewed. June 21st is going to be the first organic Wednesday that you guys see since you started this challenge. So this slate would be no more. It'll be Vegas, a public section, halftime.
And then all
Then
Vegas.
you have Vegas for the evening, and then you have public at the end. It's not going to be this many halftime breaks. The only reason they have more halftime breaks than usual is because of the public debt from what happened on Monday.
So on Wednesday,
Because if you pay attention, go ahead.
on Wednesdays, every time there's a big break in time, that's a swap in public to Vegas.
There's only one big break in time.
Okay.
So on Wednesdays, you'll notice a 3:40 p.m. or 3:05 p.m. and then a 5:40. You're like, 3 hours of no baseball? What the hell are they doing up there? They're just letting people drive home.
And that's the swap.
That's the swap. That's halftime.
And it only happens one time on Wednesdays.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's dead in the middle.
Okay.
What up?
So do they have more public debt to pay on tomorrow, Thursday?
Yes, they do. That's why Thursday looks like a Wednesday slate when it should look like a Tuesday slate.
So those same time ones, those are, you would say, public.
Let's look at it real quick. Let's look at it before we get out of here because we are officially over time. All right, pull up your Google or pull up your Bovada, whatever works.
Ooh.
So tomorrow, it looks like they're almost done paying the public debt because they only have 2 games in the first public zone while people are at work. Can somebody tell me the name of those 2 games?
Braves, Phillies,
Diamondbacks.
All right, when is Welcome to Vegas? What game is Welcome to Vegas?
1:45.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Detroit,
Tigers.
Minnesota.
Minnesota and the Tigers is Welcome to Vegas.
Yes.
When do we switch? When do we switch? Of course. When do we switch back to public?
White Sox.
White Sox, Dodgers.
8:05.
You guys just decoded the entire slate.
Angels and Rangers.
You're looking at tomorrow? I don't have tomorrow's slate up on mine.
On Google.
Oh,
I'm on board.
Play for.
I'm on Google.
Second.
Yo, Vic, can you run it back?
All right, so tomorrow's slate, the first game is always inverse. If we're dealing with public in that first section while people are at work, the first game is going to be Vegas. Therefore, the Orioles and the Blue Jays game is going to be a Vegas game. Also, it tells the story of what may happen today. If the Orioles are the better team and they just got done stomping them out, today is a slap on the Orioles' wrist where the Blue Jays win. Pay attention to where they are tomorrow. If the Blue Jays win today, Vegas is an IOU on the Orioles tomorrow.
Yeah.
Based on how early they're playing.
Because they're playing in Vegas tomorrow. In the morning. First thing.
First thing, yeah.
And then right after that, you're in a public zone while people are at work. You got the Rays and Athletics in the public zone. You got the Phillies and the Diamondbacks in the public zone.
And then there's a 4-hour break, and then okay.
Then there's a 4-hour break. That's
see.
welcome to Vegas.
I
That
see.
means the public debt has been paid. The Rays and Athletics and the Phillies and Diamondbacks is like, all right, bro, here's your money, dog. After that, they're back to scamming. Because Wednesdays and Thursdays, all these games would be in the public section on a normal Wednesday, but now they had to break it up and sprinkle them in Wednesday and Thursday like this, and you had to find them.
Just this week, right? Just this week.
But we found them. Next week, that's why I said look at June 21st. Go look at Wednesday, June 21st, and you'll see that is a true Wednesday schedule where you have 5 games on people at work and then 6 games when people get back home instead of 4 and then 6 and then another 4 that are randomly start at the same time and then 1.
Okay.
Boy, saw something so crazy, man. I think he can go all night. I think he just broke it down in a way that everybody can understand. But just in case, we're gonna hold y'all. So today's homework, you know what we got to do. Everybody got to look at June 21st, and I want y'all to break it down. I want y'all to tell me all of the times. I want y'all to break down the slates for me and really be able to show us. So show us what you see on there. Let us know if it's a public or Vegas day or what the mix is, because that's a Wednesday, right? So I want to make sure you know exactly what we looking at, so y'all can be able to do this without Vic being there to guide you along. Y'all did it just now on the call, so kudos to y'all for paying attention and being able to dissect it. But y'all got to show me for y'all homework. So look at June 21st, break it down, dissect the games, and then post it on the Facebook group so we all can see and we can be able to help each other go. And don't be afraid of putting your picks up there. Don't be afraid of showing what you seen, because this is how we actually get better. All right. So this was a great call. We're gonna be right back at it again tomorrow. Much love, everybody. And for shout out to Brian for winning that $100 cash app to be there right away. You already know what time it is, Vic. You know what it is, man. Keep doing it.
Appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in the chat. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.
You, Vic. Appreciate it, man.